Hey everyone, and welcome to this video about how to get a background check and apostille. This is a common requirement for visas, especially if you're applying for a visa to another country from the United States. Specifically today, I'm going to be dealing with some questions that might be related to auxiliares de conversación or language and culture assistants who will be moving to Spain. But in general, the background check and apostille process, since it is a domestic process done through the U.S. Department of Justice and U.S. Department of State, is pretty universal so long as you live in the United States and are getting that document. So even if you aren't an aux, feel free to watch this video, tag along, and take the information that's relevant to you. We're going to go through how to fill out some forms, kind of how to do this a little bit more in depth, and hopefully answer some questions that you might have about the process. Just a quick disclaimer for you guys, same as all my other videos. Although I'm not a professional, nor am I a representative of any of the organizations that we're kind of working with today, I have done this before, just sharing my expertise with you guys. This video is just meant to be a guideline, and the resources for the websites and the organizations that I talk about will all be linked in the description down below so that you can verify the information before going forward. The background check and apostille are a part of the visa process. If you want more information about the visa itself, you can check out my other video that I made about how to get student visas. Personally, I think this document was one of the more complicated ones to obtain for the student visa process when I did it. So hopefully you'll have a few questions answered and understand the process a little bit better once we've gone through it all together. The first document that you're going to get is the background check. It depends on which country you're going to, and it also depends on which consulate you're seeking out, but usually a background check is going to be a federal level background check. In the case of Spain, sometimes it can also be a state level background check. I think in the year of 2023, the New York consulate allows a state level background check. In any case, check with your consulate to determine what they prefer and what you need to get. The background check has to be issued within 5 months of your visa application date, so make sure it's kind of an up-to-date document. Today we're mostly going to be talking about the federal background check. It's from the FBI and it's called an Identity History Summary Report. You'll have to get your fingerprints taken. You can either do them yourself if you trust yourself taking prints, or you can do them digitally with a third party called a channeler or at select post office locations. Generally, the cost is going to be $40 to $60 depending on the method. If you go through the post office, your total is going to come out to around $68. The processing time once the FBI receives your fingerprints is going to be 5 to 10 business days, so around 2 weeks. And then your report is going to be delivered digitally and via snail mail. So we're going to go through this together, but the first thing that you're going to do is register your request with the FBI. So this is what this web page looks like, and I'm going to take you to it right now. This is the Identity History Summary Checks page from the Electronic Departmental Order of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And you'll also see the Department of Justice seal over here as well. So this gives you all the information about federal background checks and whatever you need to know. By the way, it's at this URL up here. I'll also link it down in the description. We're going to scroll all the way down to how to submit a request. You'll see that they have the steps listed out one by one. So you complete the applicant information form, select your preferences, fingerprints, payments, reviewing and confirming your request. You'll check your status and you'll receive your results. So this is the 7-step process that they have laid out for you. The first thing that you have to do is enter your email address. Once I enter my email here, I'll also get a PIN to access the applicant information form. So we clicked on the link in our email. We're going to read this little disclaimer, enter our PIN, and log in. This is just an idea of what you'll need to be filling out. So you've got your personal information, your mailing address, your preferences about what you want on the report, the fingerprint card, and the payment that you're going to be making. Once you get to the fingerprint card section, it asks you how would you like to submit your fingerprint card. You can either choose mail, in which case it will direct you how to do it. They'll also give you a form which you will need to print out along with instructions on how to take your fingerprints. Something that's kind of cool is that even though I don't recommend it, the fingerprinting form that the FBI provides you also comes with a video on how to record friction ridges. So it's basically just like their online course in taking fingerprints, which is really cool. If you're good at taking fingerprints, do it. But otherwise, I highly recommend just doing the electronic submission via third party. In my case, they've provided third-party fingerprinting locations that are close to me around Florida. These are 2 USPS locations that provide digital fingerprinting services, and they both need pre-registration, so I'll have to continue and pre-register. Finally, payment. It verifies your information, and then you'll be redirected to a government payment account. And this payment just covers the registration of the fingerprinting request with the FBI. So once you go through all of this, you'll hopefully receive an email, and then you'll be good to go to register with the USPS for fingerprinting services. The USPS charges $50 per person, and then you'll have to bring a copy of your email that says that you are doing a IDHSC and a valid form of ID, so driver's license, passport, etc. If you don't want to go through the post office, there's also FBI approved channelers for departmental order submission. If you don't want to use the post office, or if there's just not a post office near you that provides digital fingerprinting services. I will put this link in the description down below, but these are all different types of approved channelers with the FBI. In order to register for fingerprinting services, you'll put your first name, last name, email, and your order confirmation number, agree to the terms and conditions, and register for an appointment. Once you've gone into the post office and submitted your digital fingerprints, you've gone through a channeler or submitted them yourself. Around 2 weeks have passed, you should receive your background check. It should look a little bit like this. Of course, you'll get the seal of the US Department of Justice and the FBI up on the letterhead, and essentially just say that there's no arrest data at this time. Make sure the seal or the watermark in the back of the letter is clear. So we just went over how to get the FBI background check and how to get your USPS fingerprints done. But if it turns out that your consulate accepts a state-level background check, just make sure that you'll notarize the document before it can be submitted for apostille authentication. Check the U.S. Department of State website to know a little bit more about that, and your consulate regarding requirements for federal versus state background checks. Heading into the apostille. What does the apostille actually do? Why do you have to attach it to the background check? Essentially, it certifies, it authenticates, it verifies the contents of whatever that document contains so that it can be used by and recognized in foreign countries. You can begin the process once the background check is received. I recommend it as soon as possible. It usually takes around 6 to 8 weeks, so it's a pretty lengthy amount of time. This is like 2 months of waiting. But on the Department of State website, it says it can take up to 12 weeks, so 3 months to be processed. The documents that you'll need for your apostille obviously are your background check. You'll need to fill out something called a request for authentication service form. We'll go over it together. You'll need a $20 check or money order made out to the U.S. Department of State. And if you're paying by check, they're a little bit finicky about the requirements. The number of the check must be over 100, and then it has to also be dated within the last 6 months. Because they're so finicky about checks, I do recommend paying by money order, just kind of a more reliable method of payment. You'll also need to include a self-addressed prepaid envelope to return to you. The U.S. Department of State will return that document straight back to you via mail. It doesn't necessarily have to be USPS priority mail. I just recommend that, really. The only thing that it can't be is FedEx. This is something that's put on the U.S. Department of State webpage. If you need any more information about the requirements, they can be found on the Department of State webpage. It's the Authentications Office. So aside from your background check, the first document that you'll need, as we said, is the request for authentication service form. This is a 3-page document that you can download on the Department of State's website. The first page is just instructions, the second page is the actual form itself, and the third page is just an additional form that you can use if you have multiple documents to apostille. We have one, so we won't actually need that sheet. You can download the form on the Department of State's website. This is what it's going to look like. And I'm going to click on this little hyperlink here where it says complete form DS4914. And this is the form that it's going to show me. So we're going to go through it a little bit. That first page is just instructions, and it tells you in depth about how to fill out this page. This document is kind of nice because you can fill it out while you're still on the computer, so it's an interactive PDF. We have the easy stuff up here, so your name, suffix, prefix, email, today's date, cell phone or your home or work phone if you want to provide it. Your case type is going to be individual. Mailing address is the address that you'll want it to be sent to in 6 to 8 weeks or even 12 weeks time. For example, if you're moving between now and 3 months from now, maybe use a family member's address where you know you'll be able to receive the mail. In Section 2 shipping details, you can provide the self-addressed stamped envelope. And if you know the tracking number for that envelope already, you can put it here. Section 3 is only if you're doing this form on behalf of another person. Section 4 is kind of the more important part of the form. You're going to choose the country that you're using this apostille for. Then we're going to choose FBI criminal background record. We only have one document, and since we have one document, the processing fee is $20. We'll go down to the bottom of the page, say we have one document, so the estimated cost is $20. You don't have to fill out any of this information because it's for official use only, but once you've filled out this entire form, then you'll be good to attach it. Next is the information about the USPS money order. You can get the money order from really pretty much anywhere. The Postal Service does it, Western Union does it, your local bank probably actually allows you to do money orders as well. I think Walmart does it too. For the sake of streamlining your entire process, I just highly recommend doing everything through USPS. There's a nominal fee for payments that are under a certain amount. So the money order itself is $20. You'll pay a fee of $1 or something. This is an example of what it's going to look like when it's filled out. There's a little bit of information that's filled in for you by the post office itself. So the post office number, obviously, and the clerk that's helping you out, but you will be providing the amount as well as the person that you're making the money order payable to and the address. In this case, we're paying it to the U.S. Department of State. In the memo section, you can put authentications fee or apostille fee. And usually there's a section on a money order where you have to provide your signature. So once you have everything together, your background check, your DS-4194 request for authentication service form, your check or money order made out to the U.S. Department of State. You're also going to have a prepaid self-addressed return envelope so that the Department of State can send everything back to you all in one piece. All you have to do is chuck them into an envelope and send it to the Office of Authentications at the U.S. Department of State. It's recommended that you use USPS, and hopefully after a time period of 6 to 8 weeks, you'll get your apostille. But if you're experiencing delays, you can check the status of your document through the U.S. Department of State Authentication's website. If we go back to the page that we were on before, travel.state.gov, right next to all the information about what you need for the apostille is this handy dandy check your document status thing. And on that page, we get a straightforward form. So you'll fill in your name, the mailing address that you put on DS-4194, as well as your phone number and email, how you sent your pending request, so we'd say trackable delivery service, the date that you submitted your request, the country that you need it for, the amount of documents that you had, and the type of documents submitted. And hopefully with all that information, they'll be able to locate which documents that you sent in and how far away it is from being completed. Additionally, if your apostille is taking too long or you received your notifications that you'd be moving abroad in a very short amount of time, you can contact your state representative to expedite the apostille process if needed. This is really only if you're desperately running out of time, because it's a pretty drastic measure. Hopefully, you don't experience delays, and in 6 to 8 weeks, you should receive a document that looks kind of like this. So the apostille is going to be 3 pages. It'll be the cover page for the Department of Justice background check, the apostille, the letter that says this information has been verified, and on the 3rd page, your background check. There will be a grommet probably on the upper left-hand corner, keeping all of these pages together. You will need to keep that entire document together when submitting your visa application. But this isn't the end. You still have some next steps to consider. You'll need to check with your consulate to determine if the document needs to be notarized or translated, and whether or not they prefer to have copies or originals once you submit your visa application. Once you've verified all of this information and your document is complete and fulfills all of the requirements set out by your consulate, at that point you can include it along with all of your other documents that you're collecting for your visa application. And of course, if you need more information about that, Spain's Foreign Affairs website contains information from each consulate about how to do this process. So if this video is not helping you, or the information that you find on the Department of State's website is not helping you, you can always check out the consulate's websites. That is it. If you have any questions about this pretty complicated process, feel free to write them down below in the comments. I'll be sharing any of the links that I shared in the video down in the description below, along with some resources that you might find interesting to auxiliares de conversación. If you want to stay connected, feel free to subscribe. You can also support this channel and support these videos, or at least me as I buy coffee to stay up editing them, by sending me a little tip. My Venmo is @CeChapman, or Cash App, which is my social handle again, Nampaki Tech. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, and good luck with your apostille and background check.